but to talking to you guys about promoting your project beyond NMS. Let me exit out of here. Okay. So I'm going to start with a little description of my project. So the project that I did was called the STARS program, and it stands for students teaching about real subjects. And much what STARS is it's an all-girls health group dedicated to creating an open space for discussion about topics surrounding sexual health with the goal of empowering students to educate their peers. So creating this program was a very tedious process because first I had to actually create a health curriculum. I also created a supplemental journal that included the information that was taught in the health curriculum, and then I also had to implement the program and then evaluate the program. So it's a lot of work, but it was, it was a lot of fun. So here are some of the topics that were included in the curriculum. Ones that are highlighted in yellow are the ones that were added for this year because this is my second year doing NMS. So first year I had a few topics, and for this year I actually added more topics and expanded a little bit on some of the topics that were already included. But these are some of the main topics that we discussed during the girls group. And as you can see, most of them are centered around sexual health, but some of them aren't, and they tie into sexual health, such as self-esteem. So here's just a little diagram or a little collage of pictures showing some of the stuff that we discussed during the girls group. So as you can see, the picture of the female reproductive tract, the students were supposed to guess where to go, and they clearly got it wrong. But after we went over it, they got it right. So that's me on the right explaining to them where the things go and what the things are. We also went over the different methods of birth control, as you can see at the bottom, and to the right, you can see we did a condom demonstration. Some of the girls were a little concerned and confused, but after we finished it out, they all learned something from it. So at the culmination of my project, I created a poster, which you all are aware of because you all have to do one also. And this is my poster. So it's kind of hard to read because it's kind of small on the screen, but you get the general gist of it. We all pretty much have to do the same structure, so yours probably looks similar. But one thing I just want to mention is that as NMS scholars, we are ahead of the pack because we actually have a project and a poster that we can then use to do wonderful things with. So there's a number of things you can do with your project once you're finished with NMS. Number one, you can expand or further establish your project. Number two, you can put it on your resume or personal statement. Number three, you can also publish your report in journals and other academic outlets. And the last one is the one that I'm going to be talking about the most tonight, which is presenting at conferences and research events. Which before, given you have a physical poster completed, this is really easy because you have the bulk of the work done. How should you present your poster? The reason is because it's fun. You put all this work into your project. You spend months and months and months on it, logging your hours and creating, this real structured presentation. And, someone deserves to know about it because you worked so hard on it. Secondly, it's a resume booster. So by presenting your poster, you're not only showing that you are able to create the poster, but that you're also able to talk about it intelligently and enthusiastically to other people. So that looks really good on your resume and on your residency application. Next is prizes. A lot of poster presentations actually have prizes. You can win. When you get recognition, you get like a plaque or you might get a certificate. But besides that, there are also monetary prizes, and a lot of times many research poster competitions do have monetary prizes, and so it kind of like, you're putting your poster to work instead of letting it sit in the room and collect dust. And then also get to practice. So for those of us who want to continue to do research in the future, who want to present research in the future, you get to get that practice and that experience. And as many of us, I'm sure, will be doing plenty of public speaking, it's a really good skill to practice on. And then one of the other benefits is feedback. So you get a lot of feedback from people you present to, from the judges. It's a good way to kind of get a feel for what people think about what you're doing. So you guys to present. There's a few things that you need to do in order to actually present. You do your homework. So you need to find out, you do your homework and find out what it is that you need to do in order to present. So the first thing you should do is discuss your interest in presenting with your mentor. Your mentor has been with you through the whole process, and so they can give you really good feedback about what works for your poster, if the font should be bigger, if you're missing something. They have a lot of insight. And although they might know of places where you can present your poster, and so it's really important to keep them on board and let them know that you want to take your beyond just NMS. And so you also have to find research opportunities. And there's a number of ways you can go about doing that. You can search by area of interest. So, for instance, my project was on adolescent health, and so pediatric conferences, public health conferences, anything involving community service are all areas that I can potentially present my poster. Location. So being that I live in New York City, there's plenty of poster competitions that happen here, and so it's really easy for me to find places in my location. I'm also in Jersey or in Philadelphia or just in the area, places that I can physically get to. So you want to present in California unless you have funding to present California or you live in California. So that you also want to take into consideration. And then also, based on the organization, also find research opportunities that way. For instance, the American Public Health Association or AMA, the National Medical Association, the Student National Medical Association, and the Latino Medical Student Association. All really good places to present, specifically because they're tailored to people like us who are medical students and are just starting out our career. And then word of mouth. So definitely letting your mentor know that you're interested in presenting is a good thing, because then they might know of someone who know of someone who has an opportunity for you to present. So it's just good to kind of get the word out there to people know so they can let them know about opportunities. You've decided you want to present somewhere. Once you find a place to present, the most important things that you need to do are develop the abstract based on the project that you've done. You also need to edit your poster or presentation to fit the criteria. So sometimes the research competition may require that you fill out a form, or that you submit your abstract in a certain way, or that you fit it into a certain whatever. So you just need to make sure you know what the provisions are of that particular research competition, and make sure that your poster or your project fits that, because then they really just eliminate you from the test because you don't meet the criteria. You want to make sure you meet the criteria. So you might need to edit a poster. So I actually edited my poster from NMS because I presented it at the culmination event for NMS. I realized that my font was kind of small, the pictures were kind of blurry, and so I actually edited my poster to make it a little bit better prior to presenting it at other conferences or other places. You also you need to make sure you review the content and make sure you're familiar with what you're presenting and how you're going to present it. So it may be a while between you actually presenting your poster at the culmination event and when you actually end up presenting at a research conference. It may be months in between, so you might not have looked at your poster in months, and so you just want to make sure before you present that you're familiar with your poster, and that you have an idea of how you want to move through your poster. Do you want to go from top to bottom, from left to right? So you definitely want to have a strategy of how to move through the presentation. And then you also want to practice and practice and practice. Very, very important. The last thing you want to do is get up there presenting your poster and you realize you got a huge typo somewhere, or you don't know how you're going to transition from the nerds to the success or whatever. You need to make sure that you know your poster. And then this seems kind of common sense, but this is important also, is to obtain a copy of your poster So MF keeps copies of the poster, and you can look at them and try to get a copy of your poster if you need to, or you can print it at your institution, and it costs about like $50 to $60 to print your poster, I believe. So if you can get the document that worked in or worked through to pay for your poster, that's very helpful. But it definitely could be one of the limiting steps if you get that done early, it's done in time for you to present at a research conference. So I presented at a few places. Either listed here. I'm not going to read them all out because you can all read. But the theme here is that I presented at places that were convenient for me. So I presented at Rowan, which is in New Jersey. I also presented at a conference that was in New York. It was in Harlem, so I just caught the train up there, and I actually was already at the event tabling for NYU, and so I killed two birds in one stone. I also did the same thing at at AMEC, which is the annual medical education conference, the national SNMA conference. So I was already there, and so I just tagged on the presentation piece because I was already there. I just brought my poster with me and ended up presenting. I was already in New Orleans. So that's the best way to go about it, I believe, is to find things that are convenient for you and just make the time and just go and give it a try. Because out of the three classes I went to, I actually was awarded for two of them. So it is worth it. I can now put it on my resume, and I've had the experience. And when it comes time to present in the future, I'll know what to do. From my present experiences. Number one, I learned how to present a poster. It seems like something that's very common sense, but it does actually take practice. And I know exactly how I like to move through my poster. Thought considering getting IRB approval for my program, for my project. That came out of me talking to a lot of the that came to view my poster or people that saw my poster. A lot of them questioned how I was going to take it to the next level, like if I considered IRB approval. Also, speaking to judges and other people who viewed my poster, there was a lot of talk about publishing the actual curriculum that I created, or publishing information about how I created the curriculum and how I created the girls group, just because IRB approval takes such a long time. IRB approval takes such a long time, and so they gave me a lot of feedback about how I can kind of work around that and still get a paper or a publication out of my project. And then a lot of judges and other physicians that came and viewed my poster gave me a lot of advice about how to make the program sustainable, how to expand it. So like doing a boys group or considering include some of the topics that I included for this go around of the project actually came out of me presenting my poster and getting feedback from attendees and from physicians about things that I should add to the curriculum. So it actually was really helpful. And I just want to give a special thanks to NMF, also to the school-based health clinic, which I partnered with to do the program, and the School of Medicine, High School, Norman Thomas, my mentor, the practitioner at Norman Thomas, which is Debbie Arnold, and also the social worker at Viventa. And that is it. Any questions?
Thank you, Natasha. To clarify, so we do print all of your posters during the culminating event. And we printed, the one that we printed last year, I think was 40 by 36, and that cost us $110 to print each one. So rather than the $50 you said. We'll be printing them again this year in Atlanta. We're printing a smaller size, and you guys are actually free to take your posters with you after the event. So if you guys have any questions, I can unmute you, or if you want to use the raise hand feature, I can do it that way. But are there any other questions?
Oh, I have. Can you hear?
Yeah.
Chi, this is Chi.
Hey, Chief.
Hey, going, Natasha. As far as the IRB, are you planning on utilizing that IRB to have other students from your school continue your program, or will you be opening the program after you get if you do get the IRB grant, will you be the one personally continuing your program?
So I would like for the program to continue. That aspect of the program doesn't necessarily require IRB, but the IRB would be for my own personal use to get a paper out of it. So I didn't necessarily go for the IRB approval so someone else could write the paper, but so that I could write the paper.
Okay.
But the plan is to make the program sustainable, to have other students team plans that I've created.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to go ahead and get IRB approval for their particular project, that would be fine. But as far as the work that I'll do for the IRB, it would be for me.
Understandable. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Ashley Winfield. Mine's more of a technical question, I guess, not so much for an issue. The talk was great, by the way. I was just looking online on Canvas, and it's at May 1st, both of our assignments listed the deliverables, the paper, and the presentation, but I didn't see a link for the poster. I just didn't know, and I saw that it was supposed to be delivered by May 1st. I just didn't know where I would submit that or if I was looking at that wrong.
I'll check. It should be up there. If it's not at it, they're all due on the same day. The poster, but it's really, we'll give you feedback on your paper, and then from that you can make the changes to your PowerPoint as well as your poster. So you'll get back on your paper first.
Okay, thank you.
Jeanette, as far as the May 1st deadline, with some of us having finals and boards and whatnot, is there any way we can have like extra time for the first draft?
Not. How much more time do you need?
Well, my exam is on the Monday, the next Monday, and I have an exam tomorrow. So time is just dedicated to studying.
Yeah, we have a little bit of an extension. We do want to have the opportunity to give you guys feedback before we print your posters for the culminating event, for them so early. But we have a little bit of an extension to get your stuff in.
All right.
Until the 8th.
You said what?
8th, does that work for you?
Oh, okay.
That's the following Friday.
The following day. That'll work.
Mm-hmm.
That'll work. Thank you.
Anyone else in? No. Thank you, Natasha. Something I wanted to mention is that, as you know, NMF does other scholarships outside of this program you guys are a part of. And one of the things we do look at is leadership, as well as if their students have presented at conferences, participation, and things like that. So something you might want to consider in the future as you move forward with your projects. That's something that the advisory committees look at when they're reviewing your application for scholarship program. Thank you, and I guess if anyone else has any questions, Natasha's email is there, and I'm sure she'll be able to answer them. Thank you.
Bye.
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 Thanks.